In the previous sessions, we added approval matrix rows and we saw different features of PR and PO. And in this session, let's go about creating a purchase requisition and approving it. mm, for the approval matrix rows we had sent. So if you recollect, we had created two approval matrix row for laptop ultrabook, one one for BCom and one for BSc with two different approvers. So let's see how this tool routes the approval to those approvers. First, we start by creating uh, purchase equation as an employee because approvers cannot be both creator as well as approver. So we create as a employee and then approve as a manager. Hmm. So I log in as an employee with the credentials and I go to the purchase requisition, new requisition. So we go for procurement type purchase requisition. We discussed different types of PR in the previous sessions. So I'll leave it at independent. I'll leave it at default settings. So PO can be created only after all line items of PR are approved. So that's the default setting for PO when PO can be raised. And this wouldn't matter like line level approve each line individually or collective. So both of them, both so both these options will have the same result in this case because we are going to create a PR with two line items. However, each approver has only one line item for approving. So in that case, any of these options will result into same result. Let me start. So classification, item name, laptop. So these also impact routing. So the category level 1, level 2 and classification. So all of these are important and are also the routing dimensions. Want to find numbers. So in case system organization wants to compute how much is the remaining life or wants to know for which asset useful life has uh, got completed, etc., or it's nearing completion. So those reports are possible if we set up, we input these details. Useful life as 3. Let's leave it as 3. However, this has no impact on depreciation presently because we have chosen uh, depreciation should be calculated as per class of asset, organization rate for different classes of assets. So that is how we had set up this organization in organization wizard. So this will not have impact on depreciation calculation. Depreciation calculation will go by what rates we upload for each class of asset and to which particular class we tag this item category. So that would determine depreciation calculation. So SSN SSC code, as I mentioned, the tool allows the admins to maintain a master for HSN and SEC codes. So if supplier has applied different rate for a particular HSN SEC course, tool will give a warning. So I'm leaving it as blank. Supplier name. So I will give Dell. So here you don't have an option to pick up existing supplier from vendor management. So that option you will get when we raise purchase order because sometimes it may happen that during purchase requisition stage a supplier is only identified but not added to vendor management. So the tool would support that because supplier name is optional. So I give BCom because we have given a approval matrix row for BCom and one for BSc. So we want to see how a particular row gets picked. So here we say campus, new campus, building we say new building, floor we say two. So service and warranty in case supplier is also providing these details in the same invoice. Yeah, you could obtain services during in the at the time of purchase. You could add these things, and everything here will flow to the asset register for tracking. So I leave the optional fields. I leave these optional fields if in case you are purchasing this asset for as a spare for a particular asset, so you could give some asset ID reference, etc. So I add another line, and here I use almost the same descriptions except the course because we want to see how the routing gets picked up. So we know how residual value impacts depreciation. So I'm not getting into those details. So the system would calculate depreciation depending on the cost and the residual value. Supplier details again, we go with 10 and routing dimension. Here I put BSc and asset location within old building, old camp, old campus. True. And all these I'm leaving it blank as we discussed previously. And so we saw this on behalf of ID. So what happens in case you are requesting a material for somebody else, you would choose that option. So though we did not see in the routing dimension that uh, we did not see in routing dimension uh, any field by name department, but the system automatically knows who's the requester, and depending upon the requester, the if approval matrix row contain department, the system would pick up the right approval matrix row for that particular department uh, basis which department the requester is tagged. However, if on behalf of ID is given, the system will try to match approval matrix row for that particular on behalf of ID department rather than the requester department. So this is how you can configure how the routing should happen, whether you want routing dimension to also consider department. So in that case, you could configure that. But in our case, we only configured for course. So now we say view requisition, and we here we the user can attach QC details for various assets. He could use the add quotation comparison table and make a summary for the purpose of approval, so that what decision has gone behind choosing a particular supplier can be highlighted to the approver and also kept as an audit trail. So whatever quotations has been taken for this purchase requisition needs to be uh, can be attached to this tool, and this will flow to reviewer at the time of approving, approver at the time of approving, and also at the time of creating PO. This is available as a backup just to inform what were the trail of events which led to this purchase requisition and future purchase order. So we add this overall QC here because both the line items have a same item, like which is a laptop ultrabook. So we say, so hypothetically assuming this is how the quotations were, and because Dell was cheaper, the organization is purchasing from Dell. So I say create. In case there's different reason, sometimes quality of HP could be more better, and teams could have, even HP is costly, we could have gone with HP. So those decisions can be mentioned here for approval, along with any other things need to be given, that can be given as a attachment to the tool which we saw. And then I do submit. So once the employee submits, we see that the approvals have triggered, where Shiv Prakash has to approve for BCom and Sam Paul has to approve for BSc. So I see, I was look. So if we see the notification, so notification has gone to both Sam Paul and Shiv Prakash that there are some items for their approval. So I try to log in as Sham Sundar now. So submitted by Sham Sundar, so Sam Paul, and submitted by Sham Sundar to Shiv Prakash. So I log in as Shiv Prakash as I need to approve those quotation purchase equation. So I log in as Shiv Prakash as a manager. So if I see here, I will already have PR6 needs this approval. So it comes as a notification and under this bell icon. So if Shiv Prakash has taken further quotations, he could also add those attachments. If he has made some files which he wants to attach as a backup for approving this quotation, purchase requisition, he could add that. And he could also edit this quotation comparison file if he took quotation from a vendor directly as a approver. So all that can happen, and he has an option either to approve or reject. So he selects approved, and now the tool says partially approved. Considering there's another quotation, another line which needs approval from Sam Paul. So in the detail tab, all the details are there. How the system went through till now, what processes have, who submitted, and because of approval when it got updated. So all these details are there in all detail tab. So now I go to sample and I approve this requisition as sample so that the purchase requisition can get fully approved. So because it is Shiv Prakash login, I'm logging it out and I will OS sample. Let's receive mail. Um, So if we see here, he would have a PR for his approvals, and same thing applies. Whatever I said for Shiv Prakash, same thing applies for him. So we just do upload. Now it says pending post. So what this would mean is the PR is flow is fully completed. Now we can go ahead and create purchase order in the next session.